Hi everyone, welcome back to How We Roast Cook. So someone has been requesting Jamaican cheese Danish for the longest while. However, I just got me some of our Jamaican cheese, our favorite cheese to eat, and I decided to make that video for her. So I'm gonna start off by measuring the flour. I'm gonna be using 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Let's use the half cup so that we're accurate. Four and a half cups. Alright. Now that we got the flour out of the way, you want to set the flour aside. Don't put it away because we're going to need some later for our rolling out process. Alright, so I'm going to use 1 cup of that flour that we just measured, approximately 1 cup. You're going to need your yeast. For this recipe, I'm using the rapid rise yeast. Normally when I'm making my bread, I use the active dry yeast, but we're going to add this to our milk, and I'm using 1 cup of milk, and it's all the way down to room temperature. You want to have it like lukewarm or room temperature, but not cold. I have here my salt. I'll add that to the flour. Also some sugar, and we're going to combine that. So we have our milk and our yeast. I'm going to add 1 egg in there as well, and some flavor, vanilla flavor, about 1 tablespoon. The Jamaican cheese Danish has a little color to it. I'm adding a little egg powder. If you're not crazy about color, you can leave that out. It's tasteless, so if you don't have it, don't worry about it. It just adds color, and you know Jamaican like colorful stuff. So I'm just gonna add a little bit, maybe about 1/4 teaspoon. I don't want it to be too bright. That should be enough. Not adding any more color to that. We're gonna add some butter. I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons butter. So I'm just going to use my spatula to work in the flour and the butter. You can use your hands, no problem. Work it in until the butter and the flour is combined. Also, you can use your mixer, but I'm not using the mixer today. We're just freestyling with the hands. Right, once that butter and flour is mixed in, we're going to add our liquid. Smells good. And as I said before, you can use your mixer, but I just don't want to use any mixer right now. I'm gonna use my mixer later, and I don't want to wash it twice. So alright, so we have everything in there. We're gonna cover this up, and I'm gonna give it like about 20 minutes for this to activate, and then we can add the rest of the flour. Alright, I use a packet of yeast. Don't add too much yeast in there, or this is equivalent to 2 1/4 teaspoon or 7 grams. Alright, I'm just gonna cover it up and let it rest for about 20 minutes. Alright, I am back. Alright, it's time to just incorporate everything. Our hands are going to get dirty. So you can see what's happening with the dough right here. It has activated. It's very foamy, and we're going to go ahead and add our remaining flour and just incorporate it with our hands. As I said before, if you don't want to get your hands dirty, that's totally fine. Use your mixer. But it's just like you're kneading flour to make dumplings. I have an extra cup of flour here that I'm gonna sprinkle on while I'm kneading. We don't want the dough to be dry, so we're not gonna add too much flour. So that's it. Hope you guys are seeing, the dough feels really nice. Sprinkle on a little flour, not too much. I'm just going to try to get it in a square. Alright. Roll it a little bit into a rectangular, square kind of shape. Not sticking, just nice. The dough feels so nice already. Usually this comes with a lot of butter, but we're not adding too much butter. Supposed to have like layers in between the dough. We're doing it the easy way, and we're just doing it with just about 4 tablespoons. Just gonna fold it over. But I'm just gonna fold it until we're ready to do our rolling out process. So I'm gonna put this in the fridge now, and we'll come back in the next 20 or 30 minutes to do the final touching up. Alright, so here we have our dough nice and ready. We're gonna place it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. And then we come back and make our Danish. I'm gonna grate my cheese just to prep it before we roll out the dough. And you can go ahead and add as much cheese as you want. I also have a cheese bread video and a cornbread, Jamaican cornbread video. If you have missed those, you can go back and watch them. I should probably put all of those in a playlist for Jamaican pastries. We're gonna wait and see. If we need more, we'll add it, but I don't want to grate too much of the cheese and then we don't use all of it. Alright, so let's wait and see. I'm gonna roll out the dough now. See how the dough kind of gets fat? The dough put on some weight. Alright, keep this over there. I kept it in the fridge for about an hour because my butter got too soft, a bit softer than I wanted it to be. So in order to solidify it, I kept the dough in the fridge for about an hour. But if you want, you can use a butter that is at room temperature but it's a bit solidified. It's not soft and melting like mine was. Alright, so we're gonna roll it out now. Because of the yeast, you can see kind of have the air bubbles. You can kind of just punch it out a little bit. The rolling pin will help you to do that as well. And again, we're trying to get it into a kind of rectangle shape. Flour to dust. We don't want it to stick. You don't want it to stick, but at the same time you don't want to add too much flour to change the texture of your dough. Like I should put the mat this way. I think it's even enough. Making sure that it's not sticking to the bottom. And then if you want, you can knead up the sides to make sure it's even. And then I'm going to make some slant cuts to the sides, to each side, because that's we're going to use that to do our braiding. So let's start here, trying to make them the same size, making slant cuts. I don't think it's even, but let's see, we'll see. Do the same on the other side. 3. I think I went into the center too much with the braids, but it will have to do. So we're gonna place the cheese now right along the center of the dough, just like that. Making sure that the cheese, we use up all the cheese that we grated. Yeah, when you're cutting yours, don't go too much into the middle, because I think I needed some more space in the center to add my cheese, but it will have to do. So now I'm just gonna fold this part over. Just make a flap right here, and then we're gonna start braiding. So we're starting the braiding just like that, using each end to fold over, just like that, and we'll just continue until we reach the bottom. So just like your bread in here, but you're using only two pieces. So when we reach the end, we kind of just tuck over the bottom just like we did to the top, and we add the final 2 pieces of braid to overlap it, and just tuck them under the bottom to secure it. Cut off these 2 ends and tuck under the bottom just like that. I hope you guys are seeing what I'm doing. Alright, when I make these waists, now we're gonna use them. We're gonna stuff them with cheese and use them up. Alright, so now we have our nicely braided Danish. So I'm just gonna put another piece of plastic over it. Right here on the counter, I'm gonna leave it and allow it to double in size. So we're gonna give it maybe another 30 or 40 minutes. And my plastic wrap here, I'm just gonna put it over it. Or we can use about the same piece. Yeah, so we're just using about the same piece of plastic to cover it. Let it sit right there in a warm environment and double. This is the piece that we had left over. I just flat it out like a making dumpling, and I'm gonna add the remaining cheese in there right in the center. So if you have an extra piece of dough, you can do that as well instead of wasting it. So don't throw it out, just roll it up like this in the center. Make a ball. This is gonna be our cheese bread. It's gonna be a nice little cheese bread. I'm gonna put it under there as well to double in size until we come back. All right, so let's clean up until it's time to bake. I went to do a test, so it's actually 1 hour later. As you can see, it is puffed up. Ooh, very puffed up. We're gonna place it on this. Look at this one. Put it right there. This is gonna be hard to lift up, so what you can do is place it on the tray first before doing the braid. That's what I should have done, but we all learn from our mistakes, right? But I'm gonna carefully lift it and place it on there. Just lift it up carefully, place it on there. But when you're doing yours, make sure that you braid it on here so you don't have to disturb it. And that's what I should have done. All right, perfect. My oven is preheated. It's ready. Perfect timing. I'm just gonna brush on some milk on the top, or you can use egg wash. Just gonna brush on some milk on the top to kind of give it like a nice little golden crust. And I think the color is gonna be beautiful. You can use some butter too, you know, like when I'm making my dinner rolls, I like to use butter on the top before I pop it in the oven and afterwards. All right, all done. Straight into the oven. Alright, so while it's baking, I'm gonna make a glaze. 2 tablespoons butter. And once the butter is melted, I'm going to add some water and some sugar to make a glaze. And we're going to use that glaze to brush on our Danish as soon as it comes out of the oven. Here we have our water, sugar, so we're giving it about a minute to simmer, and then we can remove it from the stove. It's out. Pour out glaze to glaze it down. Smells so good. When it gets cold, you can just warm it up and eat it. Put it on this so that we can slice it. I don't know where to start. Alright, let's cut off the end. Now we need a nice presentation. Look at the steam. Alright. So there it is, our beautiful cheese Danish. I don't like, could I take more cheese? If you're a cheese lover, you can definitely add more cheese in there. But majority of the cheese is in the center. So it's beautiful. It is amazing. Nice and fluffy on the inside, and it has that nice little crust on the outside. And just slice it up and each person get a slice. As you can see, it has a beautiful crust on the outside and it's soft and fluffy with a nice cheese filling. This is absolutely delicious. The cheese, the filling, oh my god, you know how tasty cheese nice already. Then I'm paying for this, you know. It's so good on the inside, and it has a beautiful crust. So as I said, when I was making the slits on the side, I went in a little bit too deep to the middle, so it left me with limited space to add the cheese. So for the extreme cheese lovers, you can cut closer to the edges so that you can have adequate space to add your cheese, the amount of cheese that you want. But this is perfect for me. I don't like to get clouded by cheese, but this amount of cheese in there, sorry for the smacking, this amount of cheese in there is perfect for me. And if I need to add, if anyone eating it here and need to add more cheese, then can just put a piece more in there when you're gonna heat it up. But this, the entire thing is heaven. Thank you for your request, even though I don't remember your name, but every time, I feel like every time I go live on Facebook, you ask, where's my cheese Danish? When are you gonna make it? Here you go, ma'am. And I do hope you make the video, and I hope others find this video useful as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.